Halloween's Bullseye Animatronic. This is one of the coolest props that's come out this year. He might be my #1 favorite, if not the hairy one. I think it's head case Harry. This box is super interesting. You don't really see him. It looks like a Deadly Creeper sized box. Now, mine got a little damaged here. I had to tape it up, but the whole front was hanging down. But besides that, the box is pretty sturdy. It's got handles, as you can see, and I'm curious to see how they fit all of this in the box. So it says right here, his mouth opens and closes. I don't know why it just says opens and closes. He talks, so he speaks 4 taunting lines, and it plays carnival music. Like it says right here, new durable box, which is pretty cool. So he's under 5 foot tall though, and his head spins 360 degrees. Here's the side of the box, shows a regular picture with the height comparison. Back of the box is pretty plain, but we haven't been seeing stories on the back of the box, but there is one again. I'm not gonna get into it though. Got the See in Action QR code and 2 more images right there on the side. Now it says 360 degrees, but in the video, it looked like he only turned about 180 degrees and started spinning the other direction. So we'll see if he actually goes all the way in a circle. These are some huge flaps. And it is a pull-out tray. And this is what we've been waiting for all year. Got a blue shoe. Don't know what company made this. Here's the other one right here. Instructions. You can kind of see what his clothing looks like on there. It reminds me of Nozzles the Clown with that yellow and purple. Here's some of that right here. And let's see his head. There it is. This thing is pretty big. It reminds me of Stilts the Clown. This thing I think is Party Time based off the connector over here. Here is the cable for his mouth movement. But that's interesting. This is, I don't think this is latex. I think it's more of a vinyl. Anyway, super cool head. This hand is just massive. It has 4 connectors for the arms. I think this foam's supposed to be on this leg. Not totally sure though. Here's another one. They got everything in here so tight. I don't know if I'll be able to get it back in the box. Here's the other hand. His main upper torso piece, control box, and this is the base in here as well as a hip loop. Got 3 throwing knives. Power adapter. Let's see how much power he's pulling. 5.9 volt, 2 amp. Now this is where it gets interesting. Here's his Bullseye board. I don't know what to expect within this foam here. You can see some connection points. Now I think we're supposed to cut this tape. Yeah, we're gonna cut the tape. So I don't think this foam is really needed, but here's one piece of it. It's thick black cardboard with some connections on the back. I think this is where you put the knives through and they hold in. And then we got the other piece right here as well. Now you probably want to keep this foam for when you put it back in the box. Yeah, here's the other side. And it looks like they're gonna connect somewhat like this. Here's an overview of all the parts, starting with his head, the Bullseye board, 3 throwing knives, a power adapter, both of his blue shoes, the clothing, an arm with hand, the base, 2 leg pulls with 2 leg foams, a hip loop, instructions, other arm with hand, and the main mechanism with control box. Starting with the build, we have the base. This is pretty interesting. The leg pulls are all at the back, not in the middle. And we have these 2 labeled B. Doesn't matter which one goes where. And the snap lock goes in. I'm pretty sure this prop is made by Party Time. We're already having more snap lock issues, guys. Nothing we're gonna do about that one. I'm gonna hope it doesn't happen on this. There we go. I'm gonna try to fix this one real fast, but I don't know if I can. All right, we got it to somewhat work. There we go. When you wiggle it, it kind of pops it out. Spinning it back to the front, we got two blue shoes. They are the exact same mold. Just like that. And then the leg foam. We want to have these sticking out up here so we can get the clothing on. This is what it looks like, one big piece. And we got Velcro down the back. And there is some cord running out of it. I think that's for the motion sensor. Doesn't need to be down his leg. Actually, I see why the motion sensor is on his leg, because that big Bullseye board would be in the way if it was on his chest. All right, we're gonna put the torso on now. Before you put this piece on, you wanna put the hip loop over. It doesn't necessarily have to go on yet, but just drop it over. And then connect the torso. Let's hope these snap locks go in correctly. And then this hip loop piece goes right on the back, just like that. And then we're gonna find this IR sensor. This is like a huge block sensor, and connect that cable real quick. We are gonna feed the power adapter down real fast, down one of his legs, and look how long this cord is. It's easier to do it earlier, before you get the clothing up and everything, especially before you Velcro it all and then have to undo it. That plugs in right here. We got a step pad off and sensor. I'm gonna be doing the sensor with the volume about 75% of the way up. And pulling these clothes over his shoulders now. This has been a super simple build so far. I'm gonna just tack this Velcro for a few seconds while we work on the next part, which I think is gonna be his arms. Now to put his arm on, this is a huge piece of foam. Hopefully I can get it up his arm easily. This fabric is pretty stretchy, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And this fork hooks in, just like that. Now I think these arms are posable because that's not how it's supposed to be. Same thing for the other arm as well. That's what it's looking like. I think they're posed like this so they can fit in the box. So I'm gonna manually have to adjust those. Here is the fun part. I don't know if I showed this earlier, but when you spin the head around, it has detail all the way around the back of it. Also, these two pieces are gonna be where you connect the Bullseye board to. Now this thing is not gonna do 360s due to this wire. It would have to have some special mechanism piece coming out of the middle there. But anyway, we're gonna connect this on. It does have a snap lock on the side. Tacking the fabric once again. We're gonna put this Bullseye board on now. I'm gonna spin this around, but we have the piece that doesn't have all these connection pieces sticking out. And that connects onto the top, and it just simply slides over like that. And then the other one goes on the bottom. This is what that one looks like. It has these connection pieces. Now you want to connect it to the bottom of his neck while also making sure these pieces go into the Bullseye board. It's a lot harder than it looks. I think I got them all. We're gonna finish up the Velcro and then turn them around. I don't know what this piece is for right here. I don't see anything that goes to. Just spun him around and this is how he looks. They got these knives that I'm gonna insert now. You just put them in those slots. And they're just gonna stay on. You don't need to like screw them in or anything. That's how it looks. This is how big he is compared to me. And we're now gonna get on to the demo.
When it's my turn, I won't miss. give you one free throw. Then it's my turn to throw a knife at you. My grandma can throw better than you. I'm the clown, but you're the big joke.
This animatronic is so cool. Now, I know you can't really tell from the audio, but his volume is all the way up and I can barely hear him. But there is an external speaker jack on there if you do want to use it. Now, I really wish his eye lit up. That would be super creepy. And I like what they did there with the X over the patch. The other thing is that his motion sensor right here keeps falling down. Now, I kind of propped it up, but it always does that and it detects no motion. Besides that, this animatronic is super cool. His head does do a full 360 and then spins back. He's $250, guys, which isn't the worst for this super cool animatronic. Anyways, let me know if you guys are going to be picking him up this year, and if you do, how are you going to use him in your theme? Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.